What's up, guys? It's Peak Octane back with another episode of the D105 College Football Mod with our 80-team NCAA tournament. This is the episode of the second half of the Southern region. First up, we have USC versus North Carolina. And as you can see, USC gets the first touchdown of the game, and that will give them a 7-0 lead. Moving on, USC finds the end zone again, and that is going to make this a 2-score game in the second quarter. That is a 14-0 game so far. They're pushing the ball down the field, and what a play by the tight end, and he gets another touchdown for USC to extend their lead to 3 scores. Can North Carolina put something on the board late in the second quarter? They find open space and he is gone. That will be a touchdown for North Carolina. USC has the ball again, trying to get something in before the half still, and they get a huge play. They make this a 3-score game again before halftime. That is going to be a 28-7 lead. However, North Carolina finds their way into field goal range just before halftime. Again, these teams are flying down the field, and they cut the lead to 18 points at the half. Opening up the third quarter, North Carolina finds their way into the end zone. And that is gonna cut into this lead as we are now in the 2-score range. They get the extra point, and that will be an 11-point game. And now their defense steps up and forces the turnover. This gives them an excellent opportunity to make this a 1-possession game, and they settle for the field goal, making this an 8-point game late in the third quarter. We move on to the fourth quarter, and USC finds their way into the end zone, and they are gonna make this a 2-possession ball game again. It is 35-20. North Carolina is not giving up, and they find their way into the end zone. However, they cannot stop USC, and USC will kneel the ball, and this will be a 35-27 victory for the USC Trojans. They move on to the round of 32. Next up, we have Florida and TCU. Florida gets on the board first with a field goal. Next, on TCU's possession later on, the punt is blocked. And not only is it blocked, it is returned for a touchdown. That is going to be a 2-score lead for the Gators. Oh my goodness. TCU responds with a touchdown, and they're going to cut the lead down to 3 points midway through the second quarter. They're trying not to be done before halftime, but TCU gets an unfortunate bounce, and the Gators are able to pick off the ball. I mean, the replay looks funky to me, but such is video games. And Florida puts a field goal on the board to make the lead 6 points at halftime. TCU looks to open up the second half, and they get a huge play, and this will be a touchdown. This gives them an opportunity to take the lead in the second half, and they will do so. That is a 14-13 score. However, Florida takes the ball back down the field, and that will be a field goal for them as they take the lead back with a 2-point lead. Florida somehow, they catch the ball, and somehow they stay on their feet, and he goes all the way for a touchdown. This is going to be a 9-point ball game. Florida has the ball with an opportunity to extend the lead even further, and the quarterback fumbles, and TCU picks it up. They have an opportunity to close this lead, and they get a field goal to make this a 1-score game. That will be a 6-point lead for Florida early in the fourth quarter. Florida has driven the ball deep down the field, and they find the end zone. That is going to be a touchdown. This makes it a 2-score game. Midway through the fourth quarter, can TCU make a comeback? They get another tremendous play. He is wide open down the field all the way for a touchdown. They are within 1 score of taking the lead over Florida, and they do it. Oh my goodness, they have done it. They have taken the late lead over Florida with 2 minutes to go. Is that too much time left on the clock? And it is. Florida finds their way into the end zone with a minute left to take a 5-point lead, going for 2, and they get it. That will be a full touchdown lead over the Horned Frogs with a minute left. Is that too much time? TCU is within striking distance, but they cannot come down with the ball, and that will end this game. This gives Florida a 37-30 victory over TCU. Moving on, we have Texas A&M and Arizona State. And Texas A&M will get on the scoreboard first with the jet sweep, and that is going to be a 7-0 lead. And to top it off, they get an interception to get the ball back, and they are going to be inside the 20-yard line already. Oh my goodness, they are off to a hot start. Can they extend their lead? And they do. A minute later, they are into the end zone to make this a 14-0 ball game. Davis has his second touchdown in the first quarter. Arizona State finally gets their offense together, and they are into the end zone for a touchdown to cut this lead in half. Texas A&M has the ball down the field late in the second quarter, and they get the field goal to extend the lead to 10 points. And as time expires, Arizona State finds their way to a field goal to make this a 1-possession game at halftime. Opening up the second half, Arizona State moves down the field and into the end zone to tie this ball game up. And to add to that, they get another possession down the field, and they find their way into the end zone. They now have a 7-point lead. Texas A&M finally shakes off the cobwebs, and they find their way back into the end zone to tie this game yet again with 4.5 minutes to go. We are now within 2 minutes, and Texas A&M gets a field goal to take the late lead. Is there enough time for Arizona State to move down the field? They get an interception. They are within field goal range with less than 10 seconds left, and the kicker punches it through. That is going to tie this game with less than 10 seconds to go. We go to overtime. Texas A&M's moving down the field, and they find their way into the end zone to end this game. They will get the win over Arizona State in overtime. That is going to be heartbreaking for the Sun Devils, as that is a 33-27 overtime victory for the Aggies, and they will move on to the round of 32. Next up, we have Baylor and Ole Miss, and Baylor will get on the board first with a field goal, and that is a 3-0 lead. And now in the second quarter, Ole Miss finally gets themselves on the board and get a field goal of their own to tie the game at 3. And midway through the third quarter, they add yet another field goal, and this will be a 6-3 lead. This is a defensive ball game, but Baylor finally breaks through the plane of the end zone, and they will take the lead early in the fourth quarter. That will be a 10-6 lead. Baylor gets a field goal to extend this to a full touchdown lead over Ole Miss with 3:38 to go. And for good measure, they are going to run the ball down the field, and that will run out the clock. Ole Miss could not do anything on offense this entire game, and that will be a 13-6 win for Baylor as they move on to the round of 32. As you can see, we have USC moving on to play Florida. We have Texas A&M moving on to play Baylor, and those teams will fight for their spot in the Sweet 16, as well as the likes of LSU, IU, Memphis, and Michigan for the Sweet 16 spots of the Southern region. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and check out all the links down below, including my Twitch channel. Thanks, and bye.